The world is the color of moss and damp soil. K-less bare feet, calloused and wide, make no sound on the familiar path. His spear, a length of ironwood tipped with a shard of obsidian, is a third arm, an extension of his will. He tracks a scuttling, armored creature in the undergrowth, each shell a mosaic of deep greens. For generations, this has been the rhythm of his people, the Skyskill clan. They hunt on the gentle slopes, draw water from the deep, clean fishes, and build their huts in the shelter of the great sleeper's stony spine ridges. Their cosmology is simple and absolute. The world is a benevolent God, a mountain that provides all, and they are the chosen life that thrives upon its skin. These human ancestors know no other truth. They are a part of a vast, living ecosystem, a unique form of prehistoric life existing in symbiosis with their deity. A tremor starts in the soles of his feet. It is not the familiar, violent shudder of a rock slide or the shifting of deep earth. This is a slow, resonant thrum, a vibration so low it is felt more than heard, like the purr of a predator the size of a mountain range. The armored creature freezes, its antennae twitching wildly, and then bolts. The birds that roost in the colossal, fern-like trees that pass for a forest erupt into the sky, a panicked cloud of shrieks and feathers. Kale braces himself, planting the butt of his spear into the soil. The ground beneath him, the very bedrock of his existence, swells upwards. It is not a convulsion, it is an inhalation. A long, slow, impossibly deep breath that lasts for 30 heartbeats. The slope he stands on steepens, and loose soil cascades into the valley below, which is not a valley but a fold in the great sleeper's hide. He scrambles back toward the clan settlement, his heart a frantic drum against his ribs. The tremor has passed, but the world is changed. A stream has altered its course, now a muddy torrent cutting a new path. A stand of cycads, ancient and immovable, now lies shattered, their roots torn from a ground that proved to be anything but firm. Panic greets him, huts of woven branches and clay have cracked. The people are huddled in the central clearing, their faces masks of terror and confusion. Una, the elder seer, stands alone, her white hair a stark contrast to the dark soil. Her eyes are not on the people but on the horizon, the place where the world curves away into the endless sky of ancient earth. When the second tremor comes, it is an exhalation. A groan echoes from the depths of their world, a sound of stone and flesh and time itself. It is the sound of one of the great dinosaurs, a creature beyond any scale they could have imagined, stirring from a slumber that has lasted longer than their people's memory. Una turns to her clan, her face grim. The myths are broken. The great sleeper, she whispers, her voice carrying over the fearful silence, breathes. There is no dissent, only a terrified, silent obedience. The clan's entire belief system, their animism, has been appended, but ON as words offer the only path away from madness. To stay is to be crushed by a shifting, indifferent God. To move is to participate in its awakening. It is a choice between two kinds of death, and they choose the one with the horizon. The pilgrimage begins. Una leads, not with the strength of youth, but with the unshakable certainty of a seer who has gazed into the abyss and found a foothold. Kale and the other hunters flanked the column of women, children, and elders, their obsidian-tipped spears now feeling like toothpicks against the scale of their world. This is a new, terrifying chapter in hominid history, a survival challenge beyond any precedent. The ground is no longer reliable. What was once a gentle, mossy plain is now a vast expanse of flesh that quivers with the Titan's deep muscle contractions. Each step is a gamble. The earth shudders, threatening to throw them from their feet. They learn to walk in rhythm with the tremors, a shuffling, synchronized gait that turns the clan into a single, centipede-like organism. Kale discovers that the deep fissures they once drew water from now vent warm, sulfurous air, the exhalations of the creature's skin. Their journey is no longer over the land. It is across the skin of a god, a living landscape that is actively hostile to their presence. These early humans are forced to adapt at a speed that defies the slow grind of evolution, their survival skills pushed to an absolute limit. They ascend what they once called the Ridge of Elders, a familiar landmark, only to find it is one of a series of immense, overlapping scutes of bone and keratin. The forest gives way to a barren, windswept plateau of biological armor. Here, the wind howls, a mournful song across the serrated edges of the plates. There is no soil, only a thin layer of dust and hardy lichen. New dangers appear, winged creatures with leathery hides, larger than any pterodactyl they have ever seen, dive from the skies. They are not predators in the traditional sense. They are parasites, the size of men with hooked beaks designed to tear at the titanosaurus ancient hide. The clan becomes incidental prey, forced to take shelter in the deep crevices between the scutes, huddled together as the monstrous things screech overhead. Days blur into a nightmare of constant motion. They learn to read the titan's body, to anticipate the deep shudders that precede a muscular spasm, to find the deep, protected folds of skin to make camp. One evening, exhausted and huddled in a cavernous wrinkle, Una points a trembling finger forward. In the distance, silhouetted against a sky bruised with twilight, is a vast, domed shape. It is a plateau of flesh miles wide, and it beats like a heart. The heartbeat, Una breathes, her voice filled with a mixture of terror and awe. We go there. We must listen to what our world is trying to say. They are no longer a people living on a mountain, they are might scrawling on the chest of a leviathan, drawn inexorably toward the thunderous rhythm of its awakening. The journey to the heartbeat is a descent into a drumming abyss. The thrumming vibrates through Kayle's bones, a constant, agitating presence that makes sleep impossible and frays the clan's nerves to the breaking point. Yet, as they draw closer, crossing the vast, slowly pulsing landscape, Una realizes her error. This is not the source of the awakening. This is merely an organ, a single part of the whole. The true source, the Titan's consciousness, must lie higher, leading them upward, along the rising curve of a neck so vast they mistake it for a new mountain range. The terrain steepens dramatically. The forests of fern-like trees give way to a landscape of cracked, dry skin, a desert of wrinkles and crevices. Water becomes scarce, found only in pools of ancient rain trapped in the deep folds. After a final, grueling climb, they stand upon the precipice of a great cliff. But it is not a cliff. Below them, a chasm opens, and on the other side is its twin. They are standing on the eyelid of the great super. The chasm is the space between its lids, and as they watch in stupefied horror, the lower lid begins to rise. The sea of liquid darkness is revealed, an eye the size of a lake, its pupil a black hole that swallows the light. For the first time, they see the sky reflected in their god, and they see what lies beyond, a line of blue, churning water, and beyond that, a strip of green and brown land, real land, solid, unmoving. It is then that the full, world-shattering truth of their existence becomes clear. Their world, their god, is a leviathan rising from the depths of a primeval ocean. It has slept on the seabed for millennia, and now, for reasons beyond their comprehension, it awakens. The tremors are not a sickness. They are the straining of cosmic muscles as the Titan pushes itself from the ocean floor. Water cascades from its rising back in continent-sized waterfalls. The air, once thick with the scent of moss and soil, now tastes of salt. This is their moment of truth, a test that would define the future of these ancient humans. To remain on the sleeper is to be carried into a new, unknown world, perhaps into the sky itself, a fate they cannot imagine. Una points her bone staff not at their god, but at the distant, solid shore. The sleeper has woken to give us a new world, she declares, her voice cutting through the roar of the sea. We must have the courage to take it. This is their exodus. Kale and the hunters, understanding instantly, begin tearing at the thick, tough vines clinging to the Titan's brow, weaving them into crude ropes. Their primitive technology is pushed to its absolute limit, a desperate act of invention born of ultimate necessity. One by one, they will make the leap from heaven, an impossible fall from the face of their creator onto the true earth below. The perspective pulls back, leaving the small, desperate figures of the sky-scale clan dangling from their vine ropes against the face of a living god. The Titanosaurus rises, a new island breaking the surface of the world, its head touching the clouds. It takes a single, world-shaking step onto the continental shelf, its shadow falling across the land for miles. The clan's desperate scramble for survival is but a footnote to this geological event, a flea's exodus from a rising whale. Yet it is everything. This single act of defiance, of choosing the terrifying unknown over the collapsing known, is the very essence of the journey of Homo sapiens. It is the instinct that pushed our ancestors out of the trees, across the plains, and over the seas. Their leap was not just from flesh to soil. It was a leap from myth to reality, from being passengers on a god to agents of their own destiny. It is the moment a species decides it will not be defined by the power of the world it inhabits, but by its own courage to master it. And in that terrifying, wind-whipped fall, we can see the birth of the audacity that would one day look up at the stars and decide to leap toward them too. What is the true foundation of humanity? The ground beneath our feet or the courage to leave it? This is the chronicle of our own improbable bloodline. But the continent they landed on was the hunting ground of a different kind of king.